Hey guys, I haven't made a video in a while, but I'm always getting questions on my sanding machine, so I thought I'd make a video and show it to you guys. Um, it's a really nice machine. It's homemade. Um, my dad made it for me a couple years ago. Um, Basically, when I was a kid, he had something very similar to this that he had made for himself, and it was in the basement. And I always worked on things, and I used to use it all the time. So I always kind of wanted one. And a couple years ago, I was at an estate sale, um, basically just down the street from where I live, and I came across this motor. So I bought it. I think I paid like $5 for it. So I had this motor, and I guess it was kind of the inspiration to build this. I told my dad I got that motor. Maybe someday we can build a machine like what you have. And he just took the motor and he just built it and surprised me. He gave it to me for Christmas. But it's really cool. He said he wanted to build it so that it could be copied and so that other people could basically take the idea and build one for themselves. So pretty much all the parts in it are parts that you can buy, at a hardware store or online. Most of it's made out of wood. The only part that you have to either have machined or you can't buy in a store is this rod here in the center. When he designed it, he bought some of this steel and he brought it to a machine shop. And he had a few of these made. Basically, it's I think it's 5/8, and he has it tapped so that it'll thread a Jacob's chuck. And on the other end, he has it threaded so that you can bolt on one of these sanding wheels. So this rod is basically, I don't know how long it is, but it's got threads on both ends. And it fits the carriage bolts and all this stuff fits on the rod. So anyway, then for the sanding part of it, basically this is just a 1/4 inch piece of aluminum, and he has it so that you can stick sandpaper to it. Basically, you can buy these adhesive backed sandpaper discs. You can get them online. I have 3 of them that I bought on eBay, and you can just replace it. You just peel this off and you can put a new one on. But when he made it, he cut it out roughly so that it was the right size for these sanding discs. And when he bolted it together, he just took like a chisel, like for like a lathe, and he just ran it on there to kind of make it perfectly balanced and perfect circle with the sanding disc. And then for the back of it, he's got this DeWalt grinding wheel. And the reason that's there is it's sort of a backer to strengthen this. So if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you buy one of these, you kind of have to sort through them and look for like the flattest, the most true wheel, so that it's flat with the back of this. So that's how he did that, and then that's just bolted up with a nut, in the center for there. And then this is the tabletop of that, and he has that so that you can unbolt it and take this off so that you can easily get to the sandpaper and then and stick a new piece of sandpaper on it. So that's how that's done. And then he's got the pulley, and then down here he's got a 4-speed pulley that he bought online. And the reason you want that is you want to use this at different RPMs depending on if you're polishing or if you're grinding or sanding. If you're polishing, you want to go much higher RPM. So to adjust it, he's got this knob on here, and he made it so that this whole motor can go forward or backwards. So you can tighten the belt and you can set it to the speeds, and then he figured out like what the RPMs were going to be for each speed. So he put a lot of thought into it, basically. This motor just happens to have this post off the back, so he's got an extra polishing wheel, but you don't need that really. This is the main part of the machine here. You can set the speed by changing the pulley size. But anyway, he's got the on-off switch here, and he's got it wired into the motor. So you just turn the on switch on, and it turns on. It's wired in with the plug, and that's basically it. It's really a versatile machine. He made it where you can attach different stands here, so you can have different tabletops. So on the bottom, he has screwed to the bottom, this piece of metal that he has threaded. And so you can put different stands here with different tabletops. So you can bolt up something like that, you know, or if you wanted to use a cutoff wheel, you know, you can bolt this table to it, you know. So say you wanted to, you know, cut something, you know, you might want to use a steel cutting wheel or a wire brush, you know. Use a sandpaper like flapper thing, which is handy. I use that all the time. And then here's like a drum wheel, which is really handy. So you don't need these. I don't use that very often, but a lot of times I'll just put this in there if I'm sanding something. You know, this is really handy, you know. He also came up with an idea where you can make your own arbors. Basically, you just cut a bolt, cut the head off, and then put a couple of nuts in a washer, you know, and you can chuck that in there, and you can pretty much attach anything to it that you want. So, but yeah, it's really nice. It's really well built too. In the bottom here, he just glued feet to it and put some rubber so that you know, it doesn't vibrate and it doesn't move around when you turn it on. So he also did that. But yeah, here, I'll turn it on so you can hear it. So that's what it sounds like. Yeah, it runs really smooth. It doesn't hardly vibrate at all. You know, if you're doing fabrication work and you're like doing a lot of restoration work, or you're, you know, cutting sheet metal and you want to, you know, make sure that your cut is straight, you know, it's handy because you can you know, sand it down to the line. If you're doing, you know, woodworking, you can change the paper, you know, put a different coursed, you know, sandpaper on it, and, you know, sand. If you're doing scroll work, you got that. If you're doing metal work, you can, you know, use your chuck. But, you know, if you want to make a knife, I guess you could make a knife with this thing. You know, you could do, there's so much you could do with it. It's a really handy tool to have on, you know, on your workbench. And I use it all the time, and I really like it. So, but anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd show it to you guys. When he made it, because he went to a machine shop, he had like I don't know, half a dozen of these shafts made up. And so I think he has a few left, and he's going to post them on eBay. If anybody is interested and wants to build one, I'll set a link down at the bottom and you can get that. I think he also has a set of plans. Or you guys can just wing it. I mean, you know, you can just build one for yourself, come up with something maybe slightly different, and, you know, but I definitely, you guys should definitely build one. These things are, it's a really handy tool. And it's, you know, it's not real expensive, and it's well made. You'll have it forever. So, I don't know. Well, let me, you know, tell me what you think. And, I hope you like it. And yeah, I hope I inspired somebody to try to build one. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and subscribe.